All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Higher Self Embodiment class training. I'm super excited to have you here. So, if you don't know, my name is Lonnie. I'm a healer and mindset coach. So, I am all about empowering and coaching women on how to become the best, highest version of themselves through several modalities, through healing with inner child healing, through mindset, creating a more empowering mind, and then also using spirituality to really tap into your true authentic self and your intuition so you can create an aligned life where you are confident, where it feels fulfilling, and where you have that emotional freedom. So, if you guys don't know, Weightless Warrior is my registered trademark. And so, what Weightless Warrior is all about is releasing the past so that you can come home to that true version of yourself and create that life that sets your soul on fire by becoming your higher self. Okay. So if you're ready to release the past and you're ready to love who you are in the present and then also embody who you want to be, let's get into it. All right. So let me get into presenter here. Hello. There we go. Perfect. Or not. Now it wants to freeze. Of course, we're going to have technical issues. That's my luck. I always seem to have technical stuff going on. Okay, so I just need to move this over here. All right, so if you feel like you don't know who you are anymore, okay, this is something I hear from a lot of clients. I feel lost. I don't know who I am anymore, especially if you have kids, especially if you run a business. We can get so lost in tying our identity into our children, into our spouse, into our work, whether that's your business, whether you work a 9 to 5. It can be so easy to tie your identity into these different things. And you get to a point where you're like, I don't even know who I am anymore. And you might be lacking confidence in yourself, in your decision making, where you're like, you know what? I know I'm meant for more, but I don't quite feel confident on making that decision for myself. Is this the right move? And often we're so hard and critical of ourselves too, which also holds us back and keeps us stuck. And we make this love for ourselves conditional. So I want you to comment below, comment in the chat box if you've ever said to yourself, yeah, well, I'll feel enough when, or yeah, it'll be good enough when. And especially if you're mom, I suck as a parent because I don't XYZ, right? I'm not lovable because I'm not pretty enough or I'm not chill enough. I'm too much. I'm not enough, right? So notice if you're saying any of these things to yourself and creating this condition of having love for yourself and not letting yourself just be enough, okay? Maybe this is also you. You care way too much what other people think. I've definitely been guilty of that in the past, okay? The reason why I'm able to coach on this is because I was that girl. I cared way too much what people think. If I still did, I would be really freaking out right now that I misspelt no, and I would just re-record this whole thing, but we're just gonna put it in there. Yes, there's a typo. Oh, the fuck well. Guess what? I'm human. Okay? So if you care so much what other people think, this can be holding you back from really embodying your authentic self, but also your potential, the life that you want to create for yourself. Maybe you have a dream, but you're afraid of what other people think. Maybe you're afraid of what your parents are going to say, right? I know for me, when I was first starting this business, I was like, oh my God, dad would so not approve of this. He would want me in corporate, not doing this woo-woo coaching crap kind of thing. But I knew this was what my next step was. I knew this was my purpose and what I was meant to do. Okay. Maybe you're constantly stressed, okay? If your best skill is overthinking and overanalyzing, I want you to raise your hand or put a yes in the comment box, okay? That is definitely me, Miss Overthinker, and to this day, I am still constantly training myself to stop overthinking and be present because guess what? Life is not that deep. We need to remember to not take life so freaking seriously. Take it seriously enough to the point that you're not wasting it, that you are embracing it and living it to the fullest potential, but don't take it so seriously that every little thing matters. Romeo, can you please stop digging to China? Thank you. That's the thing of working at home too. You have dogs that will just start scratching everything. And then also, raise your hand if you feel unfulfilled. You know you're meant for more, but you are just held back by this self-doubt or held back by this lack of clarity that is stopping you. So if this is you, you are in the right place. Now, in today, we're going to learn some myths of confidence and personal development because there are quite a few out there, and I want to debunk those for you. And this is going to help you take some of the pressure off because if you're like me, when you first started getting into this realm, or maybe you've been in it for a hot minute, but you might be feeling a lot of pressure of I have to have the perfect mindset routine. I have to have the perfect morning routine. Okay, I can never get triggered. I have to be calm all of the time. I have to have clarity all of the time. So we're going to be debunking those for you. You're also going to be learning my 3 steps, the exact steps that I took, including this one thing that I do not see taught really anywhere in the personal development space or in the fitness space as well, because I got into personal development first from fitness and not being able to lose any weight. And I'm like, what is going on? They don't tell you your body can hold on to trauma, so you can do all the right things and still nothing happens, right? And that's how I started getting into healing. But this is going to be a 3-step process to help you go from that self doubt, from that overwhelm, from lacking, feeling like you can be your authentic self and lacking that fulfillment to feeling like you have a life that sets your soul on fire and that you can show up as you are unapologetically. Now, to do that, you're going to also need some tools, somatic healing tools. And I'll explain what that is once we get to that portion, but essentially what it is it helps you release stress, it helps you to regulate your nervous system, okay? So this is going to help you along your healing journey and along that self-development. So as you're reprogramming your mindset, as you're reprogramming your body to work for you, this is going to help you. But then I'm also going to give you some tools that you can use right away for feeling really confident and staying motivated within your healing journey and within growing who you are as an individual. Sound good? Put it in the chat box. Sounds good. Okay. So if you don't know who I am, I kind of explained this a little bit before. So I am Lonnie. I was in corporate. Okay. I fell for the whole typical, you need to go to school, you need to go to university, you need to get the corporate job, and then you need to climb the ladder. And I was successful. By all means, I was successful. I had a long-term relationship. I had the job. It was paying pretty decently. I had this beautiful apartment on a golf course. I had my babies, my dog. I had 1 cat at the time. Now I have 2. And Romeo, no, he's licking things he shouldn't. I pretty much I had it all, right? But something was missing. Something was missing and I didn't feel fulfilled. I didn't feel confident in who I was. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, what am I doing wrong? And what I was doing was I was making myself wrong. I was making myself the whole entire problem and putting all this pressure and negativity on myself. And this is where we're going to get into the 3-step process. Okay. But what I eventually did was, so my granddad, he's passed since, but he had dementia. And so my dad passed in May. We would go back for his memorial mass. And this time I said, you know what? I'm going to quit my job. We're going to spend some time with granddad, going to travel a little bit, and then I'm going to go back into corporate. I'm going to get a better job, get better money, get a better title, because I was still caring about all those things, right? And then as I was traveling, as I was healing, I realized, oh my God, this is the missing key. I don't love myself. I've been trying to feel positive about myself. I have been so, and if you're sensitive to cursing right now, maybe just close your ears, but I was so bitchy because I had so much pain and hurt and trauma within me. And I was projecting that onto others. I'm like, this isn't who I am though. And I don't know how to stop it. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be kinder, but it's not working. I'm trying to be kinder to myself, but it's not working. I'm trying to lose weight, but it's not working. Nothing is working. And I realized it's because you don't love yourself. You've been trying to fix yourself this whole time. And that's been creating the resistance. So I figured out this secret formula, began coaching women on it. And this is what has helped several women. Well, not several women, it's been like well over 100 women, well over 500 women, if you include public speaking as well, help them go from feeling lost, not knowing who they are, not knowing what they want for their lives, or being afraid to claim what they want, to creating a life that sets their soul on fire with confidence and creating balance and freedom and fulfillment within them, creating that release of the emotional weight. That is the weightless warrior. The weightless is releasing everything you are not, releasing all that past trauma, that past pain, so that way you can actually come home to who you truly are. And the warrior is the fight that you freaking go through for that. So the fact that you're here today, taking this time for yourself, I want you to give yourself literally a hug right now. Just hug yourself really tight right now and say, thank you. Thank you for taking this time to go through the healing journey, to come home to myself and to spend this time on growing and evolving, because that is a huge thing to do, because this work isn't easy. That's why most people don't do it. Okay. So that is a little bit about me. Now, do's and don'ts. Okay. So this is going, before I get into the myths, I want to give you a couple of do's and don'ts on your healing journey. One, touched on this a little bit before. Do what's best for you. One of my biggest freaking pet peeves, and please let me know if you feel this as well, okay? If you feel pressure from 5 best practices to do this, you're doing this wrong, you have to do it this way. If you're feeling the pressure from that, please place that in the comment section, okay? Give me like a big hell no, okay? So I know for a lot of the, what do you call it, morning routine, you have to do the ice bath, you have to do the journaling and the affirmations. Oh, and don't forget to listen to a podcast, and then make sure that you're meditating, and make sure that you are having like the most nutritious breakfast of your entire freaking life. And if you don't, oh my God, what are you doing with your life? All these different things, okay? Even in business, right? 5 ways to market to this, 5 ways to have this kind of content, right? And so now you're feeling all this pressure even for your business, and you're like, well, who the hell am I and what do I even want to say anymore? You don't even know your own voice anymore because you've been so focused on the 5 best practices of everyone else that may have worked for them. So you need to do what works for you. And the reason why all my clients have success with their morning routine and see such a difference within the first week is because I create a special program just for them that they actually enjoy and that works for them and their energy and what their mind, body, and soul is needing. So take all of this in and then leave what doesn't resonate for you, okay? So I'm going to be giving you the secret sauce, but this doesn't mean that there's just one way to do it. And this is why when I coach women, I have the overall view, but how I coach women is different for each and every one. I don't do group coaching because of this, because I don't believe in group coaching. It for me personally, unless it's like a community aspect and that's all that people are desiring, it doesn't work because it's not one size fits all right? So you have to remember, do what's best for you. Also, make it a priority, but and maybe you've seen my recent, Instagram post on this, as you're on your healing journey, don't get so caught up in it that you forget to live, okay? As you're becoming more aware of your thoughts, your actions, your triggers, don't turn it into a second job. It's going to be really exhausting. And then guess what? Then you're coming at it from that fixing mindset rather than I'm just learning more about myself from this place of curiosity and love. And it's a very common trap, you guys. It is a very common thing. I still catch myself in it sometimes. I have to be like, well, this isn't what we're doing right now. Okay, let's just live. Let's not psychoanalyze ourselves. All right. So I want you to remember that. Also, there's no time limit. Everyone has their own times. So once again, it's, the old sage wisdom of don't compare your journey to someone else's and don't put that pressure on yourself because it's only going to create resistance. Make sense? So let me just take a quick sip of water here. There it is. So here are some things while I'm taking a sip of water. Here are some messages, literal messages from my clients. Okay, so this one, she is a photographer. She has a photography business and she came to me for like life coaching, then she wanted business coaching. And then we went back to the life aspect as well, because guess what? Your business is an extension of yourself. So everything within that, you're still going through that life coaching aspect. So she's saying now, She was really feeling unsure about if she wanted to continue photography as a business or just do it as a hobby, okay? And now you see she's so happy in her work and she's feeling so excited, so emotional, but in the best possible way. Okay, this client, I thought it was very fitting because she's literally saying she loves her higher self and the peace that she's found. So if you've been feeling like you're out of peace, out of alignment, these 3 steps are really going to help you with that, okay? And with that comes your intuition, okay? You want to have an aligned life, you need to learn to trust yourself and your intuition. Right, here are a few more. I'm not a fitness coach. I'm not a nutritional coach. I'm not going to claim that. But as I told you, for me personally, I didn't actually start seeing weight loss until I started healing myself and reprogramming my nervous system because it was holding on to trauma. All right. So that could be something for you. We all want to feel healthy. We all want to feel confident within our body. It doesn't mean that we need a friggin' six pack, but especially, within life, it's important that you're treating your body well because that's what helps you get to live and experience life. So these are a couple of my clients who they were wanting to focus a little bit more on the body aspect. So we focus on those healthy habits and the consistency and the mindset blocks that were keeping them stuck. And they were able to achieve these results. You see here, feeling much more confident in what I want to do, even if it's against the crowd. Owning your authenticity, owning what's in alignment for you. When I was talking about nervous system, I had a client you see here on the right. She was saying, I feel like, when the girls come home from school, or let's say there's a snow day, or, someone's coming over to do work on the house, and then my day just gets interrupted. I lose all flow, and then I feel guilty because I didn't get the work done, and da da da. She's all stressed out. We helped her overcome that. And now she was able to come out of that fight or flight and actually stay within her workflow, even with the interruptions. Okay. So these are some of the things that you can get to experience for yourself if you apply what you learned today. So now let's get into the myths, and we're going to go through these pretty quickly here because I want to get into the good, juicy stuff for you and have that time for the one on ones. So you must love all aspects of yourself to fully love yourself. Absolutely not. Okay. There's parts of myself that I struggle to love. However, what self love is having love for yourself. So I can acknowledge, let's put it this way. So for me, I've never been one to have like a lot of patience. Okay. If someone's dragging on and on and on and on with the story, at some point I'm gonna be like, can you just get to it, please? I'll try to say it as nice as I can. But I've never had like super a lot of patience, right? That's something I've always had to work on. So is that something I love about myself? No. But I can have love for myself and say, you know what? This might be something that you are consistently working on. You're still lovable. You're still worthy and enough as you are. I still have love for you and even for that part of you. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you any less, right? So I'm not making it mean more than it has to be because often what we do is we kind of do like a keeping score of our things. Okay, what are our good qualities? What are our bad qualities? And we're seeing like what outweighs it. We need to stop doing that to ourselves, okay? So self-love is really about having love for all of the parts of yourself, even the parts you may not like so much, okay? I like for me, I would like pull my arm a lot, so I have like a little bit more here. Don't love that, but guess what? I accept it and I still have love for myself. Okay, so just to give you guys some examples. Affirmations will change your life. They can, but not on their own. Here is a common struggle that most people have, okay? And put in the comments here if you have tried affirmations, but they haven't worked for you, okay? Put affirmations haven't worked in the comments. I was trying to think of something shorter, but I can't. Here's the reason why they will not work, okay? There's 2 reasons. One, you're using them and only them. Okay, they are good for trying to reprogram your mind, focus on something else. But if you're not doing the inner work to figure out what's the underlying belief and clearing up that energy, it's like a band-aid. Okay, it's like putting a tomato and lettuce and lots of mayo on top of dog shit, making a sandwich and trying to pass it off as a hamburger. Okay, you need to clear up the gunk, you need to clear up the crap. The other aspect is if you are really feeling a like deep dislike for yourself, or let's say you really want to have a successful business or you want to manifest a lot of money. So if you're here saying like, I am a multimillionaire, I am having money flow to me every single day and I am just swimming in it, or like I completely love myself, I'm the most amazing human being ever. You are going from one extreme to the other. And so your body's like, red alert, this is a freaking lie. You're lying to yourself, which when you were telling yourself all this crap before, that's a lie too, but you said it enough times where it feels like your truth, it feels like your identity. So this is why affirmations are helpful. But if you go from one extreme to the other, it can be very difficult for your nervous system and create that resistance. You're not going to actually do the affirmations as much because you're like, this does not make me feel good. So here's a tip that I don't have in here, but I want you to write this down. Create a bridge affirmation. Okay. So instead of, I absolutely fully love and accept myself, try saying, I am learning to accept myself. I am learning to love myself. How does that feel, you guys? Pop it in the comments. How does that feel? Does it feel more doable? Does it feel like there's less pressure on you? Okay. Next one. You can be fully healed. Absolutely the fuck not. Okay. This is what I say. Healing is a lifestyle. Just like fitness is a lifestyle, okay? Your well-being. I don't like the word fitness. It makes it sound too like you have to be strict. I like well-being. And just like well-being is a lifestyle where you're eating healthy, following the 80-20 rule, healing is a lifestyle as well. Self-love is a lifestyle. We're never fully healed because guess what? We heal in layers. So, for example, your body may not feel safe to process something right now. That's why when you do a deep yoga pose, or say you're on the beach, say you're on vacation, okay, and you're relaxing, all of a sudden you feel super emotional and you remember a memory from when you were a child and you're like, what the hell is going on here? That's so weird. Like, I'm happy, I'm relaxed. Why am I feeling sad or angry all of a sudden? That's because your body is coming out of fight or flight and it feels safe to bring up these emotions for them to actually be processed. So we often heal in layers, but then as we're growing, as we're evolving, there might be new things that we uncover that bother us or that, we want to go even deeper in, right? So your authentic truth can be different today than it is 5 years from now. So you're going through these layers. So there's no like fully healed, and it's not that you're worthy when you are healed. You're worthy as you are right now. Absolutely as you are right now. And then the other one that I really want to touch on is forget the past. This is a new you. This is a new identity. I actually, and this is to not have any shade, this is just showing a difference in coaching, okay? And I absolutely love this coach, but I saw her make a post the other day that says healing is not about going back to the old version of you before the trauma, before the conditioning, before the programming. It's about creating the new identity. Now, if that was true, why is it that when we start having glimmers of our true self, where we're like, oh my God, yeah, this feels authentic to me. This feels right for me. This feels like who I am. Why is it we're able to feel that way then? Because you are going back to who you truly were. Some people don't believe you're born with confidence, that you have to create it. And I think that is true for some people, but I think for a lot of the time, we are born with confidence. If you go around and you see these freaking 3-year-olds, they're like, yeah, I can go to the moon. Yeah, I am amazing. Yeah, I am beautiful. They are gassing themselves up something wicked. But it's as they get older, they start comparing themselves to other kids. They start to have other kids say, why did you wear your hair like that? Then they start questioning, oh, maybe there is something wrong with me, right? So there's these different aspects going on. And so we learn essentially to release that confidence within ourselves. All right. So I believe personally that healing is about coming home to yourself and then building upon her, embodying her, but evolving her. But your true soul, that's always within you. Okay? That little girl is always within you, and I just got chills saying that. Let me know if this resonates for you, because I would love to hear your opinion on this. Like I said, this is my opinion from my experience, my studies, my coaching, is that we are coming back home to ourselves as we are unraveling those layers. So let me know if this resonates for you. All right, so let's get into the real deep, juicy stuff. All right. Drop me some hearts if you're excited, some emojis, some hell yeses, whatever you want to drop in the comments, drop them in. I'm going to take a little breath because I got like super excited there. All right. So, as I mentioned, there's a step that I feel is missed in a lot of the industry. I've seen this in certain places, but it's like when these gurus and mindset coaches and they're telling you, forget the past, you're creating the future, just keep going with it, da da da, you're creating the new you. Then people get stuck at some point, or they get to where they want to go or where they thought they want to go. And then they're like, I don't feel fulfilled. This actually doesn't feel aligned. Why? Because they were trying to fix themselves, because they were trying to chase or run away from something, right? You see a lot of millionaires and they become that way because, and I'm speaking on this from knowing several of them, is that they're chasing never being in a situation again. And you can use that for motivation. But if that's your MO and you're not doing the inner healing work with it, you are going to end up feeling unfulfilled. There are so many millionaires, billionaires, whatever, that are actually suicidal. There are many studies, many articles out there about this. One of the main things that people say as they're a lot older, for those studies that, go to older people and ask them, like, what are the things that you regret in life? Say, I wish I was more present. I wish I lived more. I wish I worked less. And I'm all for hard work, but it's about that balance, right? Because most people, they work, 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 work because they're trying to prove something. So the first step in your journey to self-love, to healing, to grow, to your higher self is learning to love and accept who you are. Instead of fighting against yourself, picture this, okay? I want you to picture that there's a big boulder behind you, okay? And there's a big rope around it, and that rope is tied to you, and you're trying to run, okay? And maybe you're super strong and you're getting a few feet. You're kind of moving, but man, is it tough. And that's essentially what you're doing when you're trying to implement new habits, when you're trying to implement new mindsets and have all this empowerment, confidence, all that stuff. You're reading all the books, right? You're reading all the books, doing all the affirmations. And you're like, yes, it's kind of working, but still feeling a little bit stuck. And I can't seem to be consistent with it because you've been trying to fix yourself instead of coming at it from the point of, I love myself and I want this for myself. So I'm going to go get it. Instead of, man, I really hate just who I am and I'm going to do everything I can to be someone else. Is this hitting for you guys? Like, does this resonate? This is essentially what I was doing, what I was telling you before, is I was running away. And I even actually had a client, it was last year. And I remember being in Belize and I was having a one-on-one call with her. And she said, I'm so exhausted from this healing work and I'm just sick of these triggers and da 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 da. And I said, let me ask you a question. Are you doing this right now to try to fix yourself or because you love yourself? She goes, I'm doing it to fix myself. So I said, guess what? We're not diving into your triggers anymore. We're not diving into why you think, feel, do whatever the way you do. We're going to focus the next 2 weeks on you fully accepting and loving who you are. And then we can go back to that work. And during those 2 weeks, she found love for her business again. Her energy levels increased. Her sleep improved. She began feeling lighter and she started figuring out what her triggers were and why, and was able to heal them a lot more with ease because she wasn't doing it from this place of force. She was doing it with a place of love. Okay. Love will trump fear every single freaking time. Weightless Warrior is about living with love, not out of fear. Okay. So acceptance is your key here. You can do all the other steps but you're going to end up feeling unfulfilled at some point if you do not deal with the crap that you have been avoiding. So, self awareness and acceptance, that's your very first step. Okay. Becoming self aware of what you're thinking, what you're doing, when you're doing it. So, for example, if a friend isn't getting back to you right away and you're like, oh my God, did I piss her off? Did I say something wrong? Become aware of that. You don't have to do anything about it right away, but just becoming aware of that. If you're feeling super stressed out and you go for the sleeve of Oreos, become aware of that. If you're watching, this is one of mine. If you're watching a scary movie and all of a sudden a part comes on and you're like grabbing your phone, you're like, okay, I do that because I'm trying to tune out because my body's starting to be stressed out from that, right? So just becoming aware of yourself, aware of your patterns, and then you learn to accept them. This is where a lot of inner child healing happens as well. So most of your programming, beliefs, conditioning happen between the ages of 2 to 8. So when we say, I'm an adult, I know what I'm doing. Okay, yes. But I guarantee most of the time you are acting out from your inner child wounds. So, for example, if you're not feeling supportive and maybe you might have a strong emotional reaction than normal, and you're like, okay, I did kind of overreact to that. Why? Because maybe you're like, you know what? Why can't you just ever do the dishes for me? Because your inner child didn't feel supported. Right. And so now here you are again as an adult, not feeling supported. And so it's acting out, it's replaying again, coming up for you to heal. Right. So this is often why we can be reacting rather than responding because we're actually reacting to those wounds. Most people don't want to do this work though because it entails facing the shadows, facing the deep, dark shit that you don't wanna deal with. You're like, "Nope, that was when I was a child. I'm not dealing with that. It's done. It's whatever. It's in the past." If it was done, if it was whatever, you wouldn't have that strong of a reaction to it, right? So this is why if you've ever heard the term shadow work, this is what it is. It's bringing light into those shadows, to bring love into it, to help you love yourself and accept yourself and heal that wound of not enoughness even with the shadows. Loving yourself because of the shadows, not in spite of them, because we all have stuff, right? So this is also about creating that self-esteem, that self-worth. So as you're doing this, you're going to be learning, hey, you know what? I actually am worthy of having boundaries. I actually am worthy of being treated better. You start learning through the self-care, through the nervous system work. The nervous system work actually helps you through the trauma as well as you're working through it because it can be really stressful, right? And so as we're learning to neutralize those emotions as they come up, that nervous system work helps us with that, helps us feel safe so that we can retrain our inner child, retrain our inner body. And then with knowing, hey, I'm starting to treat myself better. What you demand of yourself, you're going to demand of others. And I don't mean demand in a mean negative way, but just I treat myself so good. I am not going to have you come over here and disrespect me. My peace is more important than whatever's going on over there. Does this make sense? Okay, how would that feel for you to have such this level of peace where you're super picky who you allow around it? Where you're actually setting boundaries with confidence. You're no longer afraid of what someone's going to say, what someone's going to do, because you've healed that fear of abandonment. Because that's another wound that is very common. That inner child wound is fear of abandonment. So if you're people pleasing, here's the thing, if you are a person who is doing everything for everyone else, and you're like, I'm just a nice person, I'm just very giving, I love to help people, but you're also burning yourself out, you might hate me for this. That's not just because you're a kind, empathetic person. It's also because you have some sort of fear of abandonment there, or because you are trying to heal your inner child who didn't get the support that she needed. So when you heal those wounds and you learn, you know what, I don't care who else abandons me as long as I don't abandon myself again. That is when you build out confidence for those boundaries. And that's not to say it's not going to sting. You're human, it's normal. But it's that self-worth and that confidence and really empowering, embracing your higher self, okay? So acceptance is this first level. Now, approve. This is where Now we are implementing everything we were trying to before. We're trying to have the healthy habits. We're implementing the mindset techniques of speaking more positively to ourselves. Okay, I'm sure you guys have read some books or heard different things of like how to switch your mindset, instead of saying like the affirmations, for example. Okay, you may have tried affirmations, but they didn't really seem to work. Now that you've cleared out that energy, you've figured out why they feel like such a lie, and you've neutralized those emotions, now you can start building upon it. And it's going to be so much easier, and it's going to feel more real for you. So it's going to be easier to stick to and have that consistency. You're going to be upgrading the standards for yourself. Okay. So this is where people may say you're creating a new identity, whereas I say you're evolving your true identity to where you have these standards for yourself of, for example, if someone offered you a cigarette, right? You go, I'm not a smoker. No, I'm good. Instead of, well, maybe, right? No, it's just, I know what I am. I know what I'm not, right? So as you're upping the standards for yourself of, I am someone who values my time. I'm someone who values my energy. I am someone who I will not let someone disrespect me through XYZ. I'm someone where if someone's crossing my boundaries, I'm going to reevaluate my relationship with them. So you're upgrading the standards of yourself and how you show up for yourself, but also how others are surrounding you. So it's not about having expectations of others, but standards. Okay. And this is also where you're learn to trust yourself, because as you're building these new habits and you're sticking to them, you're building that trust and confidence within yourself, because the biggest proponent of losing confidence is breaking trust within yourself. Think about it. If you had a friend who said, hey, you know what? I know you have this, let's say your dog died. Okay. Very sad. I would hate for that to happen. Hopefully everyone's baby is okay. Let's say your dog died and your friend said, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be over there in like half hour. I'm so sorry. She never shows up. She's like, oh, I fell asleep. Sorry. You'd be like, what the really? You wouldn't trust her again, right? So when you disrespect yourself by saying no or by saying yes when you really want to say no, you disrespect by tolerating people disrespecting you, tolerating less than you deserve, or when you say, okay, I'm going to do something, I'm going to start eating healthier, I'm going to start actually taking action towards my goals, towards building my business, and then the fear takes over and you sit back, like you're breaking that self-trust within yourself. Okay, so approve is really about taking all the action you wanted to apply before, or maybe you didn't know about it and now you're learning it. And now you're actually implementing it in a way that is going to stick. And you're also identifying and releasing those limiting beliefs that are coming up for you, because now you know how to do it from the accept process. Now you know how to figure out, okay, where is this actually coming from? And you know how to neutralize it. You know how to prove it wrong and how to actually overcome it. Or at the very least, you know how to do the nervous system work so that you can feel it, but still move past it. Make sense? Let me know if you guys are getting value so far. Give me like hashtag value in the comments. So if you guys have heard or seen of this before, and this is the rice experiment, it's also been done with plants. I forget the name of the scientist. I apologize. It's an Asian name that I forget, but you can look up the plant experiment online and it'll tell you right there. Here is why learning to love and accept yourself and switching your mindset is so important. Because one, it determines your actions, okay? Your beliefs determine your feelings, which determine your thoughts, which then lead to your actions, which lead to your outcomes. Okay? So if you want better outcomes, you need to have better thoughts. Meaning you need to have better feelings, which means you need to have better beliefs. This is why the belief in yourself is so important. Okay? So for the outcomes, but also for your health. Again, this is not like fitness thing or anything like that. This is our mental, emotional, physical well-being. Self-love is all of those in one. So if you want to be the healthiest version of yourself, you need to be careful how you speak about yourself. So if you see in this rice, one was told, I hate you, several times a day. and the other one was told, I love you. And you see how well the positive affirmations thrived. So ask yourself, I want you to take a moment, think back to today and ask yourself, how have I been talking to myself today? If I was being, say, I was in the Kardashians, right? Say I'm on the Kardashian show. I don't know if you like them, if you hate them, whatever. Doesn't matter. Everyone just knows them. So let's say you're being filmed on the Kardashian show, except the cameras are seeing all your thought bubbles. They're seeing how you talk to yourself, and you would watch it back. What would you think? What would you think about yourself? How would it make you feel to see all the things that you've said? And I want you to ask yourself too, would you be willing to say it to your sister, to your mother, to your daughter? If you're not willing to say it to your daughter, you should not be saying it to yourself. You deserve to be loved. Because at the end of the day, like I said before, we're essentially 5-year-old children walking around. And that doesn't mean we get off the hook for everything, right? Because we are still adults. We do still know right from wrong, okay? We can't be going in to Target and if we're upset at something, stomping our feet. But we can go home and we can stomp our feet. And we can express that anger in a safe container and with love and with compassion. Okay. So this is a visual to show you why this work is so important, not only for creating the life that you want and for loving yourself and having the confidence, but also for your physical well-being, because your thoughts literally change your cells at a cellular level. Okay. It changes your body, sorry, at a cellular level. This is why disease is actually dis-ease. So a lot of things that go wrong in our body are actually caused from our mindset. So when we can start doing that healing work on our nervous system, but also within our mind, you might actually experience some crazy stuff. I had a client once who she was having really, really bad stomach pains within her ovaries every month around that time. And as we dug deeper and deeper, she opened up to me about some things from the past that would surround trauma around that area. So we worked through that. And guess what? The next month, someone had been going to the doctor for like 10 years about this pain. Next month, barely had any pain. There is a mind body connection. So not only is it important for confidence, but also for your general well-being. All right. So the next step is admire. So accept, approve, admire. I wanted to do just all A's to keep it easy. But really the admire is the self-love part. But if I did that, it would be ass. And when I do speaking engagements, it's not really appropriate. So admire is really about now that you know how to listen to your intuition, now that you have a more empowered mindset, now that you've learned to love and accept yourself, and you have learned who you truly are underneath the layers of conditioning, because I forgot to mention this part, but this I think will resonate for you guys, okay? As you grow up, right? Have you ever been told, like, are you going to be a good girl today? Were you a good girl at school today? Do good girls do that? Do you think that was a good or do you think that was a bad decision? And all those things are based on what your parents think are good or bad. Okay? So then when you move out of the house when you're older, of course you feel lost. Of course, in our early 20s, we feel lost because we were pretty much told how to think, how to act. We were adjusting ourselves to help ourselves feel safe within our environments. Even if you grew up in a loving home, right? Maybe you had a parent who wasn't home as much. And so you would do whatever you can to get their attention to feel loved. And it had nothing to do with you. They were just tired and exhausted. But you're like, okay, well, if I achieve, straight A's and if I'm doing well in sports and everything, maybe my mom, maybe my dad will love me more and want to spend more time together and have more energy. Right. And so we're creating all these things around ourselves and putting all these conditions on ourselves. And even as far as like religion, for example. And then as you get the house, you're like, okay, I'm experiencing other things. Do I actually believe that? Or is I just going with what my parents said? Right. So once you start actually learning what your identity is and what your beliefs are, Now you're able to create a life that is actually authentic and aligned for you. Figuring out your purpose, which, by the way, your purpose is not a specific thing. Okay. A lot of y'all create so much pressure on yourselves, and I've been guilty of it too. But your purpose is simply to be your most authentic self. Because when you are, you're going to do things that are in alignment with that and with your higher purpose, whether that's saving puppies, whether it's helping people, whether it's doing web design, whether it's trading, okay, whether it's, being a mom. But I don't believe being a mom is just a sole purpose, because you're a woman first and foremost. So maybe you're very motherly. Maybe your purpose is instilling confidence and love into others and having that motherly aspect, right? And so when you are your most authentic self, you are giving love out into the world, and that's what it needs. That is your purpose, to give love out into the world. So when you're loving yourself and when you're being your authentic self, it is falling over into the world. Does this make sense? Give me like hashtag makes sense or something in the comments if it does. All right. Even in business, okay, a lot of people are copycatting each other because they're trying to figure out the best way to do everything. And then they don't even know their voice anymore. But you are meant to do business in your authentic self. There can be a million people who are, say, web designers, but no one's going to do it necessarily like you. But if you're so busy trying to figure out how to be successful by copying Brenda and Sarah over here, you're not going to be showing up in your authentic self, and people are going to be missing out on that. So that's why it's so important for you to be in your authentic power. Is this making sense, you guys? This is also where that spirituality comes in, where we're learning to surrender, realizing we're not doing this on our own. Whether you believe in God, universe, source, whatever it is, the fact that there is a higher power and it is working with you. You are not alone in this. I know it can feel like it sometimes, but I promise you, you are not. Okay. And then also creating that work-life balance that we were talking about before, where you're now learning to be within your power. You're learning to live your purpose in a way that feels good and feels aligned for you, but you're also recognizing, I don't need to prove anything anymore. Okay. If you desire to have $1 million, amazing. You can do that. But now you're going to be able to do that while recognizing I still deserve to have self-care time. Now I know how to set boundaries to where I'm not on my phone scrolling at 9 o'clock at night, getting back to messages. Is this making sense, you guys? So you're able to have that empowerment within yourself and truly live that authentic, fulfilling, emotional freedom lifestyle that you have been craving, because you're no longer weighted down by the past or by these limiting beliefs. All right. So accept, approve, admire. These are your tickets to your higher self and your higher life. All right. So now we're going to get into some somatic exercises. So we have just a little bit more to go here. So let me know how you guys are doing. Take a little bit of a water break if you need to. Don't forget, if you guys have any questions, pop them in the comments. But we're going to get into some somatic exercise because, like I said, as you work through things, a lot of emotions are going to come up. So if you are finding that if you're trying to set a boundary and you're like, well, like when you said this thing the other day, it kind of like, see how my voice is shaking? I'm like looking around rather than, hey, you know what? When you said that thing the other day, it kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. Here's why. See how the difference is in that? So when we're able to help our body to not only process the trauma, because our body can store the trauma, right? It can manifest trauma physically with weight, but can also manifest in different ways, like with pain that I talked about. So as you're going through and releasing stuff, you might find your heart shaking a little bit. You might find your breathing getting really shallow. So these processes are going to help your body release that stagnant energy. Much like if you see a dog and two dogs come together and they're sniffing, but you can tell they're not really jiving. And then so they walk away, you separate them, and then they shake it off. Okay. That is them releasing their energy. That's how they're able to stay chill and so happy and wagging their tail seeing you, because they're releasing that energy that's not serving them in the moment. So, and obviously everyone is different, has different schedules, but if you have something that really ticks you off, I strongly recommend going for a walk, going for a run. Maybe one that I'll give you right now for somatic exercises. Take a pillow, bang it on the ground, just on the floor. Go into your room, go into your closet, take a pillow, just keep throwing it onto the ground to release some anger, just release that energy. So this is why it's so important for your healing, for your growth. Even as limiting beliefs come up, tapping is a really great one, right? So if you're saying, like if you have fear around building your business or maybe having a pivot in your business so it's more authentic to you, you're like, you know what, this doesn't really resonate for me anymore. I actually want to shift into my own thing or shift who I'm serving or shift my offer. Having those practices can help you to feel more calm and confident within that. So I'm actually going to switch the order of this a little bit. So let's start with tapping for that because I just mentioned that. So for tapping, you have meridian points around your body. So I'm going to give you just like a quick overview here. So the side of your hand, like kind of karate chopping it, is one of them. And then on the top of your head, in between your eyebrows, so like right here in this point, doing this. And then on the side, right underneath your eye, on your cupid's bow, on your chin, on your chest. So like, how would I describe this? So about an inch below your collarbone here, about an inch or two, tapping there. And then right under your armpit here, okay? So if you're saying, you know what, I'm really stressed out today and I am feeling like just very unsure of myself. I'm not sure if I should make this move. And you're just like talking it through with yourself, doing that, going through all the meridian points. You can also use this for affirmations to ground them within your body. So it's going to work in one, two ways. One, grounding the affirmations within yourself, right? Saying, I'm lovable, I'm enough, I love and accept myself as I am. But it can also help to release the energy by saying all the things that you are worried about. So I was like, just trying this on your own. Another thing that you can do is if you're feeling really stressed, I laugh because I've had so many clients who absolutely love this one, and it's a little bit funny. Take if you have soda, even if it's a beer can, something like that, take something cold from the fridge, or you can grab a bag of ice, put it on your chest in between your boobs. Okay, leave it there for about 3 to 5 minutes. Like if it's freezing cold, a little bit less, obviously, you don't want to put yourself in pain. And that actually stimulates your vagus nerve to help you come out of that fight or flight and into the relax and repair stage. All right, so write these down or take a screenshot, whatever you need to do, but try that one. Let me know how it goes. I have had so many people tell me that they love it. I've had clients tell me like 2, 3 years later, I still use that. That's still my go-to. All right. Another one is alternative nostril breathing. So your right nostril, I'll like turn this way. So I'm with you guys. Your right nostril is responsible for your sympathetic nervous system, which is a fight or flight. That's what puts that fear in to keep you safe in case there's any danger going around. And your left nostril is parasympathetic. So that's your rest and digest. So this is another thing, you guys, as you're learning to repair your nervous system, you might find that you need to go to the bathroom a bit more. Totally normal. Just going to let you know, totally normal. All right. So what you can do for alternative nostril breathing, take your thumb and then you're going to be using it doesn't matter exactly what other finger you use, whatever you're comfortable with. Size hands can matter, but your ring finger. So take your right thumb on your right nostril and breathe in through your left. Close your left with your ring finger and out through the right. In through the right, out through the left. In through the left, out through the right. So you notice how you're breathing in and out of one nostril, going over to the other side. So I recommend doing like one set. We just did about 2, 3. I'd recommend doing one set of that about 5 to 10 times. And that's going to help bring your body down. So I'll take another drink of water here. Try it for a few minutes, not for a few minutes. Try it for like 20 seconds. Comment in the chat how that makes you feel. If you're noticing a difference in the calmness, and try to close your eyes as you do it too. So as I'm talking here, close your eyes and just do it. So in through your left, closing your left, and out through your right, in through your right, close the right and out through the left, in through the left. So do this a few more times on your own, and try to visualize your shoulders dropping as well. Really sink into this. And comment in the chat box how you're feeling after that. Do you feel more relaxed? Do you feel more confident? Let me know in the chat box. And then there's so many different somatic exercises, you guys, and there's going to be a whole week's worth of this stuff within the academy. I'm going to be adding in a whole week's worth of this. So there's going to be so many different somatic exercises that you can do, because again, I believe in having various options so that you have numerous tools in your toolbox to figure out what works for me. All right. Maybe the ice works for you. Maybe the tapping works for you. Maybe the nostril breathing works for you. And you know what? Maybe one might work for you better today. Different one might work better for you tomorrow. So it's about figuring out what's working for you and having the tools in your toolbox for that. Okay. So the last one I wanted to show you today was the 5 senses. So this one is really more so for being present and grounding yourself. So if you're constantly in your head and you're like, okay, I'm trying to enjoy this yoga class, or I'm trying to be present with my kids, or I'm trying to focus on work, but I'm so stressed out about this other project, or like all the different chores I have to do with the house and da da da. Focus on grounding yourself, coming into that present moment. This is also going to help release a lot of anxiety and stress within your body. So there are a few different ways to do this. I like to do it the easiest way, which is I will close my eyes and I will focus on, what do I smell? One thing I smell. What do I taste in my mouth? What am I hearing? So often if I do this in the morning before meditation, I'll be hearing the birds chirping, I'll be hearing the wind, I might smell fresh grass. So going through each of the senses. And then I open my eyes and I focus on one thing that's about 10 feet away from me, 10 to 20 feet away, and really just focus on that for a few moments. And this is going to help bring your body and your mind back into the present moment. Because when we're in the past, we're usually experiencing depression or guilt or shame, not nice stuff. When we're in the future, we're usually experiencing some anxiety, some stress, some fear. Also not fun. The fun place is in the middle, in the present. So this is going to help you with that. So put in the chat box what you are going to try. I want you to challenge yourself. Pick one thing to try today. And it doesn't include the alternative nostril breathing because we just did that one. But if it is your favorite, let me know. But try one of these other things and see how that helps you. Okay. Now, your ninja tricks for confidence and embodying your higher self. One, your intuition. So we're going to do a quick exercise right now. All right, I know I'm giving you guys a lot of exercise right now. These are going to be so helpful. So I encourage you to journal after this and experience, like, talk about what was working for me. What did I enjoy? Like, what was the outcome, the takeaway from this? Because if the more that you are writing about it, the more that you even talk to yourself about it or tell a friend about it and say, hey, I learned this cool thing today, then that's going to stick in your brain. You're going to be able to use it more because you're going to be able to recall it better. Make sense? So for your intuition, here's a simple way to get to know what your intuition is actually saying. Because like I said, when we're bombarded with all this different information, all these best practices and all this stuff, it's hard to actually know what we think, what we feel, and what we want to do, what's best for us. But ultimately, you have all the answers. You have all the answers within yourself. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to create statements. There's a few different ways to tap into your intuition. This is one we're going to do right now. There's more in the academy. You're going to create statements. So I want you to say, my name is, so my name is Victoria. My name is Lily. My name is Romana. See how that feels to you. Just notice it within your body. Notice if there's any sensations, where those sensations might be. Then I want you to say, I really want to go blank. For example, like, I really want to go to the beach, and have it be something that you would actually like to do. Like, I would love to take a vacation to Hawaii. See again how that feels within your body. Okay. And now I want you to say, and this is going to be a little crass. All right. I really want to try cocaine. See how that feels. Your body probably just did something weird. Because one, that is a ludicrous thing to say. Right. And not, hey, if someone's on here and they're doing it, fair play, no judgment. Most of the time, and especially the people, that I interact with, that's not really our jam. So it's also like saying, okay, I really want to have a cigarette if you're not a smoker. See how that feels within your body. So when you get to know your body's cues, and then when a decision comes up, you can say, okay, I want, or I'm going to fill in the blank with whatever's coming up for you. Okay. I want to start a business on, or I really want to try a yoga class, and then see how it feels within your body. And this is how you can really honor that intuition. Even in relationships, if you say, you know what, I don't want to have a relationship with so and so anymore. Notice if there's a sense of lightness within your body. It can be sad, but you may feel more light. You may feel more at peace. So, okay, this is sad. Like, ideally, that's not what I want, but my intuition is telling me that this is what I need to do. Okay. So that's the way you can tap into your higher self intuition. Next thing, set a small goal that you can accomplish. This is what's going to build that confidence. We talked about this. So instead of focusing on the whole freaking staircase and stressing yourself the F out, focus on one little step. So if you're wanting to get super healthy, instead of saying, I'm going to eat nothing but salads, I'm going to drink 100 ounces of water, I'm going to get my 8 hours of sleep, blah, 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 blah. Focus on one thing. Focus on sleep. Say, okay, can I get to bed at 9:30 every night? And focus on doing that consistently this week and keeping that promise to yourself. And then celebrate it, because that what we celebrate, we will repeat. When we're feeling good about that, we're going to want to repeat it. So whatever is a bigger goal that you want, break it down into a smaller one, and then focus on just that one thing for this week. And with that, challenge yourself once a week. There are some people who say, like, okay, I'm going to do something on my comfort zone every single day. Y'all, we have jobs, we have kids, we have lives, every single day is a little much, right? But we can definitely commit to once a week. I think that is definitely a more doable goal. Would you agree? Put yes if you agree. All right. So think about different ways you can get out of your comfort zone. For example, going to a yoga class, going live on your Instagram about your business, or maybe painting. Maybe you really want to start a new hobby, but you're afraid because you're like, I don't know if I'm any good. Once again, saying the expectations on yourself. Is this something that you want to do for fun? Can you just let it be fun? Can you let yourself just suck at it and still enjoy it? Right? Kids don't care if they're good or bad about it. They're like, I want to paint, so I'm going to paint. Look, mommy, I drew this sun and it's a blob, right? So, well, technically sun's a blob, so that's not the best example, but you know what I mean, right? Just do something for fun for yourself, okay? So as you are building your higher self, there's one question to ask yourself at the end of the night is, who was I today? Who is I today? What did I enjoy about that? What am I proud of? And what would I like tomorrow to be like? Who do I choose to be tomorrow? And choosing to embody your higher self. It is a decision that you make. Your life can simply change based on one decision. And that's a scary realization, but it's also an empowering one. Much like the realization that In one way, you don't matter. You are one person out of 8 something billion on the earth. It's like, you stand at the edge of this vast mountain or the ocean and you're like, yeah, kind of am insignificant. But at the same time, all it takes is one person too. All it takes is one person to change the world. All it takes is one decision to change your life. You could have someone having the crappiest day. You smile at them, you give them a compliment. You are the one who just made their day and made them feel like, you know what? Life isn't that bad. Maybe I'm a little bit more excited now. Okay. So it's choosing to be your higher self over and over and over and over again. And that is the sexy or the unsexy truth of it, is that it requires that repetition and that dedication. All right. So make sure that you're popping those questions in. Now you've learned self-love. Okay. You've learned the 3 steps to self-love. You've learned the things that you need to do to actually embody your higher self and the tools used to do that. Okay. The inner child healing, the somatic practices, the mindset subconscious reprogramming, because 95% of your thoughts, they are subconscious. So we're walking around here with our inner child wounds and pretty much on Groundhog Day, just repeating over and over and over and over again. This is why it's called a spiritual awakening, because you're becoming aware of what you're actually thinking, why you're thinking that, what you're doing, why you're doing that. That is why it's a spiritual awakening. Okay. You now know how to tap into your intuition. You now know a few tools on how to regulate your nervous system so you can have less stress, so you can have more energy. Because every time you overthink, every time you actually think, period, you're using up the glucose in your brain. So you want to make sure that you are using that glucose preciously and wisely. And you're wanting to make sure that you are using it on beautiful, empowering thoughts. That's not to say this is toxic positivity and you're always going to feel good. No, we are going to feel our feelings. What's about feeling your feelings and then knowing how to shift into that more empowering mindset. And now you know a bit more on how to embody and uncover the true, authentic version of you. So you can start creating decisions and taking actions that are aligned for who you want to be, for the life that you want to create. Okay? Is this all making sense? Let me know in the chat box. So if you are wanting to dive deeper onto this, and then we're going to be going into the one-on-ones. If you're wanting to dive deeper on this, if you're wanting to let go of that perfectionist holding you back from actually taking action, from the people pleaser that is draining your energy and making you deal with crap that you shouldn't be dealing with because you know you deserve more, you know you're worth more, but you can't seem to understand why you're tolerating this BS. And this inner healing is what helps you uncover that. All right. If you're ready to set those boundaries within your life, within your business, so you can have more of that work-life balance, so you can have more energy for yourself, so you can own your worth. If you're ready to be unapologetically yourself and just walk down the street knowing who you are, someone says like, yeah, you kind of look like crap today. And you can just know, actually look pretty damn good. I don't know what they're smoking, but whatever. Like clearly it's about them, having that level of confidence, being able to be healthy within your mind and your body and your soul, and releasing yourself from the heaviness, from that weight of the past that you have been carrying, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, right? Because a lot of us say, yeah, I don't really know why I do that. And then we talk about it a little bit more and figure out, oh, yeah, that's right. It's because as a kid, I showed my parents something that I was proud of, and they're like, yeah, okay, that's nice. And they didn't really pay attention. So now I feel like nothing that I do matters. Right. And we realize, oh, I've been carrying this weight of the past the whole time. And that's stopping you from embodying your potential. Okay. So if you are ready to release the weight of the past and truly embody your higher self, to love who you are and unlock your potential and have that emotional freedom, but also the fulfillment within your life. This is just kind of talking about what we talked about before too, right? Owning your worth, making those habits actually stick, uncovering and rewiring those subconscious beliefs that have been holding you back. I'm going to give you guys a special opportunity in just a minute now. These are some of the things, again, these are like straight taken from my text messages with my clients, except for this last one. This one was on Facebook, and that's why I have her name there. And yes, my name is Lonnie, and I had a client named Lonnie, and it was really weird at first. Sometimes it is. Okay. So this person on the left, this client, she's having these tools. She knows what she needs to do now to feel confident, to feel good within her skin, to handle her relationships better, to have more confidence to actually go after her goals. This other client, she runs a business, and she had someone telling her, hey, you need to do XYZ, these best strategies, right? And she thought about it. She's like, no, that's not aligned for me. I'm not doing that. That's not what feels good. And guess what? She completely redid her branding, and she is feeling on friggin' fire. Okay. One of the things that I notice is that when my clients are doing really well, I hear from them less, because my goal as a coach is to support you, but also teach you how to coach yourself, because I want you to be able to do this work for the rest of your life. You can hire someone for that support, because I do believe that it's kind of like therapy, right? And just having that maintenance and having something that you can bounce things off of, but only if you want it to, because you, again, have the freaking power within yourself, right? And this one on the right here, this is from someone who joined the course more recently. And she's saying, I can tell it's just going to help every aspect of my life. I personally have a hard time marketing myself, because what I do literally helps every single aspect. It helps your relationship with others. It helps the relationship with yourself. It helps you with confidence within your body, within your decisions, within your business. It helps you figure out, what do I actually want in my life? Maybe I'm already a successful business owner, but you know what? It's still not feeling fulfilling. Why? It helps you uncover that stuff. So these are just some of the things that you can experience. I do weekly check-ins with clients. So this person, I learned to surrender and stand firm in my boundaries. I'm confident in just being me. Like, how would being unapologetically and authentically you feel? What would that mean for you? What would you go after? How would that unlock your potential? Like, what things have you been not going after because you're afraid to show up as yourself? Who have you been keeping your gifts from because you've been afraid to show up authentically yourself? Because you are robbing people of the amazingness that is you. They may need your services, your love, but because you're afraid to be you, they're not getting that. This person having more routines at home, right? Sometimes, like, we're people who thrive off of routines, but when we have all this stress and anxiety and this perfectionism, it's hard to stick with it. So when you release all that, you're able to actually create routines that feel good for you and that you will stick to. This person, she was more focused on her body. And so I have a whole week on learning to really connect with your body, learning to love it, not just having it be like a freaking museum piece. Okay, we're not here just to be looked at and gawked at. Our bodies are a vessel for living through this life. I guarantee you right now, if you were to actually go through and list everything that you're grateful for about different parts of your body, you would feel so much better about it. Maybe your arms help you hold your children. Maybe your legs help you go running and you really enjoy running. It makes you feel empowered, right? There's all these different aspects that we don't think about, and it's those mindset shifts. All right. Here's just a couple more. I'm not going to like leave this on here too long. But if you're in a downward spiral, we get into those aspects, those time periods where we're having a constant roast in our head saying, you suck, you're not enough, you're fat, you're ugly, you're this, you're that, the other, right? You can't succeed. You're just like, you're always going to fail, just like you did everything else, right? So this person was getting in this downward spiral, but she learned how to now take herself out of it so she didn't stick as much in it, and she was able to take action. This other person identifying her triggers and realizing, okay, I can actually heal this part of it and it doesn't bother me anymore. So now she's freeing up time. She's not ruminating on it. She's freeing up her energy. And it's going to give her more confidence, but it's also going to help her get closer towards her goals because she's not wasting this time and energy on the triggers. Okay. This is also from a Facebook post. So that's why she's there. Marsha, she is one of my favorite clients. And I say this because she actually did a testimony video with her daughter where she was teaching her daughter affirmations, and it was the cutest thing. And I didn't cry, but I messed it up a little bit, right? So she was wanting more self-love and confidence. She doesn't own a business, but she's in the military, and she's wanting more self-love and confidence. She was wanting to be able to set more boundaries. And in that kind of a environment, you need to sort of have that backbone to stand up for yourself, right? And so now she says, I'm giving no fucks about doing what's best for myself. So many of us, we're afraid to do what's best for ourselves because we're afraid of the backlash. But then we feel unfulfilled because we're not actually living up to the blueprint that we know that we have for ourselves. We're like, this is what I want, but I'm not living in it, and it's causing me stress and pain. And that needs to cause you more pain than worrying about what other people think. Because then you're going to be like, nope, I'm releasing all my fucks. The weight of them are gone, and I am choosing to do what is best for me. And now Marsha is in her most authentic badass self. So you have a few different options here if you want to go deeper. And I do have a special offer for you guys, but I'm going to leave it at that for right now because this offer is only for the people who are on here live. So we're going to end the recording here. I hope you guys enjoy this training. If you're wanting to go deeper, feel free to Instagram me or send me a DM on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook. I hope you guys got lots of value. Feel free to message me and let me know what your biggest takeaway was. And I'm sending you guys so much love. And I hope you have an amazing day.